All right. How is everyone tonight? Let's welcome everyone to another episode of Murray's Law. I am your host, Attorney LaConya Murray. Very excited to be here on the second Monday of October. You know, so let's jump in. So for those of you who are new, Murray's Law is our live Q&A session where we answer questions that are submitted by the people that are in our Mark legal community, and just random questions that we get. Today's episode, let me just start here. Today's episode is sponsored by Mark Legal. And this week we are having a 1-day 60% off of our contract templates and courses that are priced over $100. So you do not want to miss that. That's Wednesday, all day Wednesday, 60% off. So do not miss that. Now, let's get into this episode of Murray's Law, shall we? A good one. So I really love when a plan comes together because this is very unexpected. I have my topic for today. Today we're going to discuss like the common mistakes that people make when it comes to trademarks. But then on yesterday, while I was sick and shut in, because I wasn't feeling really good, I saw an article. What's the article? Coachella is suing Afrochella for trademark infringement. And I said, how sway, perfect timing, if you would, because it's a perfect example of almost all of the points that I wanted to hit today about trademark mistakes. All right, so let's get into, so before we really get into this Murray's Law, let's get into a little legal tea, shall we? And so what we have here is Coachella files a trademark infringement lawsuit against Ghana Music Festival, Afrochella. So what I know is that in 2017, two guys they're from Ghana, but they were residing in New York, had the great idea to create an African themed music festival, and they called it Afrochella. And they attempted to get a trademark back in 2017, but they didn't respond to the office action. And because of the cost that it would have taken for them to produce the event in New York, they said, hey, you know what? It's too expensive to do it here. Let's take it to Ghana and do it there, because they had more resources. It wasn't as expensive, and they had support from the community and the government. So they did that. They had their first festival in 2018. They had the first festival in 2017, the second festival in 2018, then 2019, then COVID came and shut it down. And they have another one coming up maybe this year. Well. Coachella's not too happy about that. One, because it's piggybacking off of a name and a brand that they created. Yes, the brand is Coachella, but that Cella part is what, it really stands out. And they actually have a registered trademark for Cella as relates to festivals and music festivals and things of that nature. So Coachella said they reached out to the Afrochella team and was like, hey, don't use this name. It's trademark infringement. And they were like, okay, whatever. And then the Afrochella people, from my understanding, from what I'm reading, and I'm getting this from, I don't have a copy of the complaint. I'm reading this off an article on complex.com, a music website. And they said that they filed a trademark not just for Afrochella, but they also filed it for Coachella and Cella. Wow. And not here in the United States, but they're in Africa, in Ghana. So if we're talking about common mistakes that people make as it relates to trademarks, I will tell you that this story has them all. I have a list of common mistakes here. And the first thing on my list, and these are not in any order, really, or maybe they are, but the first thing that's on my list is choosing the wrong name. And how do you choose the wrong name? You choose a name that is descriptive, meaning that it describes a function of the good or service that you're providing. You choose a name that's generic, meaning that it literally is what it is. Like, your name is not something that's so unique that when people see it, they're going to recognize it to identify your good or service. And that's what you want to do when you're coming up with a name. A lot of times people will say, well, if I don't tell people what I do in my name, how will they know what I do? And that's not, you shouldn't put that burden solely on your name. That's a lot of weight to carry just on a name alone. That's what branding comes into. That's where you sharing your story and marketing and things of that nature. Like trying to have your name say exactly what you do, describe what you do. It's kind of lazy, if I may say so. It is. So when it comes to choosing a name, you want to make sure that the name is either suggestive, meaning that it just it doesn't tell you straight on what you do, but if you think about it a little bit, you're like, oh, that's kind of clever. So our name, Off the Mark, right, is suggestive, because once you learn what we do, you're like, oh, off the mark, off the trademark. Oh, I get it. Right? I get that all the time. And I'll say this, along with choosing the wrong name, is going with something that you see is popular, piggybacking off of someone else's brand and success. So if you see that Coachella is really popular and blowing up, you say, oh, well, I'm going to do something similar, but I'm just going to put a twist to it. So Afrochella is not the only people out here that's doing this. I have a whole list of them. Let me just give you a couple of names. Oh, there was Trapchella, Babychella. Oh yeah, here we go. Hairchella, Brunchchella, Poetchella, Soulchella, Boatchella, Sneakerchella, Queerchella, another Hairchella, Femchella, Babychella, Hoodchella, Kidchella, and I will tell you that Coachella has started taking these things seriously, which gets to another point that we'll talk about later in this episode. But there are a lot of people who are like, oh, a festival, and all of those that I just named, they have to do with some type of music, culture, or dance festival. And they used Cella because Coachella was so popular. Oh, let me just put my own spin on someone else's brand. Now, if someone made their own spin off your brand, what would you do? How would you feel about it? Let me know in the comments if you think that that's just for a game, if you think it's being creative. What do you think? So choosing the wrong name, that's one common mistake that I see very often. There is a book that I recommend to people when they come to me and I'm like, oh, you got to get a new name. It's called Hello, My Name is Awesome, that I always refer people to read because it's very helpful when it comes to coming up with a creative name for your business. But trademarks protect brand identifiers. You have to have a unique name so that when the consumer sees that name, they know that it identifies your good or service. If it does not do that, then you don't have a trademark. So that's like the number one thing that you have to have is a unique mark. The other thing that I would say, another common mistake, the common mistake is this. Either they, one, don't do a clearance search before they like, yes, I have this name, let's move forward with it. Or two, they say, I have this name, I did a Google search, I didn't see anything, let's move forward. So either not doing a clearance search or not doing a comprehensive clearance search. And when we talk about clearance searches, what we're doing is clearing the trademark for you. So we're going to search to make sure that there aren't any other brands or businesses using that same or similar name before we get committed to it. Because a lot of people just skip that. And the reason they skip it because they believe that they're so clever. I'm so clever. No one else can come up with something because this name was given to me, which I get. Like I've been in situations like that for myself in my own brand. I'm like, yes, I have it. I'm so clever. And then I do a trademark clearance search and I'm like, girl, you're not clever. You're not that clever. You're a little clever. But you better be glad you do this trademark clearance search or else you would have been in a lot of trouble, right? So the reason that we do a trademark clearance search is because once we start the trademark application process, that application, when it gets to the examining attorney, that examining attorney is going to do the same thing. They're going to check their database to see if there are any same or similar marks in that system. And the reason that we don't just check the system, the reason that we also check for common law uses is because that In the United States, it's first to use, not first to file. So it may be the case where you actually filed the application first, but someone else was using it. And then during another point in the application process, during the objection period, the publication period, that person that had the prior use might actually file an objection to your application based on the fact that they were using it before you. So we don't want that to happen. We want to know what all possibilities, what's everything that's out there. So that's why we do a search. And so you say, okay, well, I'm doing a search. I searched Google and I don't see anything. So what's so wrong about that? I don't even know where to start. You can't just rely on Google. First of all, you can't just rely on Google. And second of all, most of the time when people are searching Google, they're searching for direct hits. And you can't, the USPTO isn't looking for a direct hit on Google, right? Google isn't the USPTO database. And there are times when people haven't launched their business, but they filed their trademark application. So you're going to do a Google search and you're not going to find that pending application for a business that hasn't launched yet. So yes, while Google might be a tool or a resource, it's not, oh, I searched on Google and I'm all good. Never that. And when it comes to this Coachella, Afrochella thing, like you don't even have to search Google for that, like because Coachella is such a popular name, you know off the bat that anything that you do that's similar to that is going to cause a problem. A third thing that I have that people do not do when it comes to trademarks is they don't monitor their trademarks. And what that means is that once you got two phases. So once the application is filed and once the application is registered, once you have a registered trademark, like during that entire process, you should be keeping eyes on the USPTO database to make sure that someone's not trying to register your same or similar trademark. And if they are, and you catch them in enough time, then you have recourse. You have a recourse. You can file an objection to their application before it gets to the registration period. So you want to make sure that you're monitoring your application, especially after it's registered. Registration is really just the first step of protecting your brand. You want to monitor it because if you don't, and people out there, not only maybe they're not filing trademark applications for it, but they are using it in a way that you did not give them permission to in their business. And if you're letting everyone use your same or similar brand because you're not monitoring it, what happens is now your brand that you're building, that you invested in getting the trademark for, is now getting lost in the sea of all the other brands that have the same name as yours because you're not monitoring it. And if that happens, guess what? You're no longer unique. And so you're monitoring it for same or similar. Then you're also monitoring to make sure that people are using your trademark in the right way, meaning they're using it as a brand identifier instead of as an adjective for something or a noun. So what I mean by that is at one time, escalator was a trademark, but it became so commonly used for the actual moving stairs that it became generic, and now all the moving stairs are known as escalators. There's a cute video, and if you follow me, you know I talk about this video all the time because I find it hilarious. It makes my heart happy, and giggle and smile a little bit. But the lawyers from Velcro, they have a whole video saying, hey, just because it snaps and clicks like that doesn't mean it's Velcro. Velcro is our brand. You call that a latch and hook, I think that's what they called it. I don't know. But whatever they called it, they like, it's not Velcro. Cut it out. Stop using Velcro to describe everything that sticks like that, because that's not what it is. So that's another reason that you will monitor your brand, is to make sure that people are using it correctly, like Google, right? We say, hey, did you Google that? And we're saying, like, did you search the internet for it? But Google is actually a search engine. It's not all of the search engine, so you want to make sure that people are actually using your trademark in the right way. And one company that's actually monitoring their trademark now is Coachella. When I went in here, I saw that they have several oppositions to people trademark. So I gave you that whole list of names that were using Coachella as a part of the music festival thing. Quite a few of them were opposed by Coachella for trademark infringement. So there's that. So monitor your mark, people. Monitor your mark. Let's see. So number 4. So are you still with me? So how many of you all, let me know in the comments, have trademarks that you are monitoring? I would love to know how many people have trademarks and they're monitoring their trademark and making sure they're keeping people off their brand. Let us know in the comments. Because we're moving on to the 4th thing. I had originally 4, now I think I have like 5. The 4th thing, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Woosah, inhale, exhale. Stop investing in branding without working with a brand attorney or a trademark attorney. Cut it out. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you're spending all this money with these people who are helping you get your name, your colors, your logo, all these things together. And then you're coming to me. And when you get to me, I'm telling you that, oh, I'm sorry, that name is already taken. Here's an application that was filed before you. But if you work together with an attorney while you're going through this branding phase, what happens is they give you a name and a logo and you say, hey, attorney, can you tell me if this is available? And we do our search before you commit to them, before you sign off on them, like, hey, yes, that's a good, we're going to go with that one. And that prevents you from getting to this point where you're like having to reinvest again in branding because the name is not available. So please, people, please, if you are going to invest in working with a brand strategist or marketing company, branding company, or something like that, which I highly recommend. I love my experience with working with brand strategists. Shout out to Jessica and shout out to Aaron, who both did a great job with the 2 brands that they worked on individually. So shout out to both of them. But yes, stop working with these people and not making sure that what you're creating can be protected, that you can even use it. It's not even that it can be protected. Can you even use it without fear of you receiving a cease and desist letter or get hit with a trademark infringement suit like Afrochella? Cut it out. Cut it out. And the fifth thing that people do, like a common mistake, is they wait too long. Why are y'all waiting so long? Tell me this. Why are you waiting so long to register your trademark, especially now when more and more people are filing applications, which makes it more likely that the mark that you're trying to register might already be in the system as a pending application? Because we already talked about how clever or unclever we really are, right? So when you wait, you're just increasing the chances of a likelihood that you're not going to be able to get your trademark approved. And some people have been using their trademark for years, and so it's not even that the person that's filing has priority, but it's that now it's going to cost you more money to fight that than it is to potentially rebrand. So yeah, and I think the reason that people wait so long is because there's so many things like, oh, you need to wait till you make X amount of money in order to file your trademark, or trademarks. I saw someone said trademark is just a sheet of paper. First of all, it is not just a sheet of paper or a certificate. It absolutely is not. There is some weight and some authority to having that. And if you're in business, and if your business is a big deal, if you really believe that and you plan on doing the work and making it a big deal, then you need to make sure that you put protecting that brand a priority, putting in the beginning to make sure that as you're building something that you can protect, that you can keep people off of, because that's where the money comes off at, right? So yeah, you get a certificate. Well, in the year of 2022, they stopped issuing certificates without an additional fee. And the certificate that they now issue is pretty ugly. I'm just putting it out there. But you get this registration, right? And the registration It's not just a sheet of paper. You can also, when you have this, now you can tell people that, hey, if you want to use my brand, hey, you know what, Afrochella, if you we love the idea that you're doing. If you'd like to partner with us to use our brand as part of your festival, here's the fee. This is how much it will cost you in order to use our brand, in order to have it associated with your event. Because when you own the trademark, you have that authority to do that. Yes, yes, you do. So you're talking about it just being a sheet of paper. How about it be the paper? Dollar bills, yo. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm so goofy. Anywho, we are coming up on the final minutes of Murray's Law. And I'm going to check and see we have any questions. Okay, so this question is not about the topic. It is about our 60% off sale that's happening on Wednesday. It is there a product with a step-by-step business plan template? And the answer to that question is yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So our business plan workbook provides a step-by-step guide for business planning. Now that won't be in the 60% off sale because it's only 30 something dollars. So anything above $100 you get 60% off of. The other question is, I'm wondering if the coaching template bundle includes the one-on-one template and the group template. It does. So the bundle includes, whether you're providing group coaching services or one-on-one coaching services, you get both of those contract templates in that bundle. And then, of course, the podcast template bundle, which a lot of you all are eyeing, will be 60% off as well. And it includes like 5 contracts. So absolutely. Well, I know there are people that were trying to get into to Murray's Law Live today, and I'm really sorry that you weren't able to make it in. We will check on it, and we keep it moving, because I'll be honest with you, there have been times, especially when I first started, that I would be the only person on the call. But guess what? We show up anyway, we show out, we give our best. And I know that with my people, a lot of them are doctors and nurses and therapists, and they just have really busy schedules, so they do catch the replay. So we will have this replay up for you